Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Skyebits show. I have a lot to discuss today about the market, about the fear index, and possible reason why we had a spike yesterday. And I want to go over some of the altcoins, and then I am going to share you the EMA strategy that I use sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. I like using it more so for the daily, but we'll go over that. And just wanted to tell you thank you again for tuning in to my show. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump. Here we are at the fear index. Okay. We are at 33. We went from neutral yesterday to back to fear. So if I was to look at this right here, we literally went up to like neutral yesterday, and then here we are back at 33. So what could bring about this? And it's simply the drop in the Bitcoin price, right? Also, here we can see what is going on. Right? Let's take a look at what Bitcoin is doing. Go ahead and enter full stream. So it looks like Bitcoin is just doing its thing, guys. Let's go ahead and use some parallel channels from here. Nope, right here. Parallel channels from this point. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was wrong. I'm sorry. That was wrong. We should actually zoom out. And then we can go back to full screen. All right. So I don't want to use this. That's why. I want to use this range to this range. Then we could talk about it. All right. Move this. All right. There we go. So Bitcoin wants to bring max pain. That's what I'm looking at, okay? When I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'm thinking max pain, all right? So what's going to make max pain? Well, if Bitcoin hits 53,000, that's kind of like max pain, but I think 50 grand would be max pain. And so how we got to break out of this trend, right? Because Bitcoin just keeps going on this downward trend. And it's just we had like a spike yesterday, if anyone noticed. So I was like, I went around and I was looking like, what is going on? Why I was, because I was expecting price to just kind of go back to kind of just easily and slowly float down. But then we had this like weird spike yesterday. You can't see it right now because I'm looking at the daily. But if you tune into the hour, Bitcoin does this like weird spike. Or at least I thought that was a weird spike. It just goes from 56 and then just goes back to like almost 60 grand. So I thought that was a weird spike. And so I looked at it, and turns out that there was some news. So some news that's going on is that I'm not sure if you guys ever knew, there's a news websites that you can use that are free, of course. CNBC is one. And I was looking, I was just like, man, what's making this spike? But we already know. Let's see. NASDAQ dips as after Biden picks Powell for a second Fed term. This is huge news. The whole reason why you're here is because I don't want to get really too much into politics, is because there's just too much printing, right? The fact that Biden elected Jerome again tells me that the printing is just going to continue. And he's going to we're just going to be printing away our savings. So the reason why you're here is because you're looking not just to hedge what the government's doing, but you're looking to hedge against inflation, and you're looking for a safe store of value, right? So that's what Bitcoin is called, a safe store of value, because gold is not even able to keep up with inflation. So I thought that was I thought that spike was a little bit weird, and so we can see, you know, what is going on a global scale, and then so forth. Okay, so another thing is, you know, because Bitcoin is doing weird things, you know, because it's in a downtrend and then it's in an uptrend, right? It's kind of floating up and down. So I want you guys to take a look at this. I thought this was weird. Altcoins are doing phenomenal things in this so-called bear market. So-called bear market. I'm just like, guys, in the last 24 hours, yeah, 24 hours, as you can see, I clicked 24 hours. Sandbox is up 23%. I'm not sure if you guys are fans of Nexo. Nexo is up, or I'm sorry, down a little bit. But what I'm trying to say is, like, these coins are going up. They're not going down. Crypto.com coin is up. They're like, I think, almost traded on almost a lot of the other exchanges too. And what is this? Like, we got Loopring and Zach. Our weave's a little down. But guys, you gotta think about this. Like, some of these are like metaverse tokens, right? Not Celis. Celis not a metaverse. For a bear market, and Sandbox is up 23%. It's trading at $5. I remember when this token was like at $1, and it's trading at $5. Guys, this is I wouldn't call this a bear market, even though Bitcoin is like kind of gradually sliding down. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Like, we can't say it's a bear market when altcoins are making 20, 30, and I've seen some go crazy, like 50% gains, and Bitcoin is going down. So I thought that was interesting. We're looking at Bitcoin dominance just losing some face value going on here. So how can you capitalize on this? Right now we're seeing all these big spikes. So let's go back to Bitcoin. Like I said, max pain. I think max pain is around 53. But there's some good news. If you are a Bitcoin maximalist, you're like, you only care about Bitcoin and you don't care about the other coins, then you might actually like this, what I'm about to say. The fact that we bounce back from 55, this is good short-term support. In order for, you don't want to see Bitcoin break this support. What you would like to see is that it breaks out of this trend. Right? That's what you want to see. Okay, we're never going to see like that, but you want to see Bitcoin break out of this triangle, and then you can buy it back, and then we can continue on our merry way. So that is what I'm seeing right now in Bitcoin. I think 55 is kind of like a short-term support, but I think also, I'm always like biased too a little bit. I think also we definitely hit the 53, 54 range easily. So I'm just like right now I just showed you the fear index. We're at what, 34? So, you know, when I see there's a lot of fear going on in the market, it makes more sense to wait a little bit longer to see what's going to happen. So here's what you can do if you're patient. You have to be patient in this game, okay? I don't want to say game. Game is the wrong word. What you want to see is Bitcoin do. Here, let's fix this. Let's make this yellow and super thick. What you want to see is Bitcoin go here, break, maybe not right away, break out of this trend. You want to see it hit right here, and then maybe come back down to retest this 55 level, because right now there's a lot of extreme fear in the market, right? So you want to see this Bitcoin hit 55,000 again. And there's two things that are going to happen. Either Bitcoin goes down here and then bounces up, hitting this trend line more likely, and then comes here, and then we can break out. That's in a perfect world, I would rather see Bitcoin hit 53, to be honest. And the reason why is I think it would just like, it would, anybody that's long right now, especially if you're a short term, it would not necessarily liquidate you, but it would help drive more patience. Bitcoin is a patience game. Stock market is somewhat of a patience game too. But what we're waiting for is, if we're not going to be waiting for this, right? Because when I see extreme fear, I'm thinking, oh, okay, people wants to buy, all right? So no one wants to buy, but I want to buy. I want to see Bitcoin go here and then go make crazy moves. Go make crazy moves. So that's what I'm seeing, what possible things that can happen with Bitcoin. But maybe you're tired of Bitcoin. Let's talk about Sandbox, for example. All right, let's look at Sand. All right, so you're probably like thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to wait for Bitcoin to bounce, right? Maybe you want to get into a trade in and out, right? So you want to be in and out. You don't want to hold on to the tokens. So this is what, if this is you, this strategy is for you. You're going to absolutely love this strategy. So right now I have Sandbox. And right now I'm looking, like, if you're looking this on, first let's look at this on the daily. Sandbox has gone tremendously, gone up here, right? So let's say you're bullish, you think Sandbox is gonna hit, for example, $6. All right. So you want to get in and get out. For me, I would be telling you to wait, right? But you're probably like, maybe you're just like, oh, I'm scared, or I'm not eager enough. I like to play the little bit patience game. So here's what you can do. You can deploy, I like using the 8 and 21 EMA. And what it does is you can see price. Okay, so I'm looking at price. You want to get in when it's doing this. You want to get in between, when you see price, like for example, Sandbox, you want to get in when price is between the 8 and the 21. When you see price is between the 8 and 21, this is where you want to get in. These are entries. And this is something you can play on the daily, but when you're looking at Sandbox, it's already way above these two EMAs. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with EMA are your exponential moving averages. So they move a lot faster than moving averages. The simple moving average is another name. So the reason why EMAs move more faster is because they hold more market data. They're more, the data is more up to date versus you have something you have to wait 20 days to get a line, right? Or every day there's a new line. So there you go. So this EMA strategy is useful if you want to get into a trade and then get out. So what you want to do is you're like, oh my God, this coin is moving, it's moving, it's moving, it's moving. But from my point of view is, for example, Sandbox is very expensive. I would not want to be buying Sandbox. However, if I want a little bit of exposure to Sandbox, I would wait until price gets in between these lines. And you can notice, like, here we go. You notice how I'm like circling these? If Sandbox goes down to $3, like, do you want to pay $4 or $5 for Sandbox right now? No, you want to get it when it's a little bit cheaper, right? So, and not only when it's cheaper, but when the momentum is still ongoing. So as long as price is trending above the 21 EMA, momentum in Sandbox is going to continue along with this paired volume, right? See, we got volume going on, and then volume is trying to go on. It doesn't know what's going to happen. But for me, if I wanted to play Sandbox like right now, and it looks like there's no resistance because Sandbox has no, I don't think Sandbox has any prior highs. No, there's no prior highs. So Sandbox can go up. I don't know. I don't think forever is the right word, but it can go up for a while. Right? You got. So what we want to do is wait for price to come in between the 8, which is this red, and this green, which is the 21. So I use this strategy if I want to get into coins. I usually do it like the midway. I like doing it kind of midway in to these entries. So like this is another midway. And what it is you're just putting limit orders. You just put limit orders. So like you can put in an order for 350 if you wanted to get into Sandbox. But you would have to change this almost daily. Just FYI, you would be changing this almost daily. But what it is you want price to stay above the 21. When price goes below the EMA 21, this green line, that's when you want to get out actually. Or because I think Sandbox is too much exploded. It's exploded too much. So another way to look at this is for short-term trades, just FYI. What's a good coin? Let's look at, I don't even know. Let's look at Ethereum. Okay, so here we go. All right, so Ethereum is, for example, right now it's below the EMA 21. Right, so I don't want to really necessarily do anything. But if you pair this, if you recall from my previous video, pair this. Ethereum's like up there. All right. If you pair this with the parallel channels that I taught you in the previous channel, previous video, then you can see a good, you can see good entries when you want to get in. But you don't always have to wait for the EMA to give you some type of confirmation, right? So maybe you want to get into Ethereum, but right now Ethereum's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. It's just kind of bobbing around, right? So we can zoom in. I think zooming in is a little bit weird, but so something like if you wanted to like play and practice this, right? This is where you go into the 15 minutes. If you wanted to play and practice this, then you use the shorter time frames. If you want something, once you master the short-term time frames, then you can do this easily on a daily chart, no problem. But you want to use these EMA if you're starting out and you are new. You like to use these EMA strategies. See how we, like you have to be more in tune. This is like if you're super, super, super active in trading. So you want to deploy the EMA strategy if you are practicing and if you're holding things in and out short term. So like maybe a day to 3 days. That is the whole point of the EMA strategy. You are in and out. So now that I'm looking at the 15 minute is you're going to be in and out of the coin in a day. Okay. Especially if we're using the 15 minute. So you're looking at this, you want to get into these when, like for example, EMA, you want to get into these ranges when the EMA when price is close to the 21 and 8. When price is close to the 8 and 21, you can deploy, if you want to, you can deploy capital, right? Based from this is really a choppy chart. Like I said, you have to be really more active about this. But if you refer, let's say we go back to Sandbox. Sandbox, this is pretty. So we go back to Sandbox. Let's look at Sandbox on a 30-minute time frame. When you're playing 30-minute time frame, you're probably going to be in and out the same day as well. See, look at this. Look at this. This is beautiful. So you want to get in when price is in between the 8 and the 21. See? Right now, we don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. But when we see a trend like this starting, you can jump in. I like to jump in when price is like kind of halfway in between. Yeah, halfway in between. And you would have to move this daily. So like you'd move this daily. If you're lucky, you can get in. And if you're unlucky, you never get in. You have to just watch this go without you. But that's okay because now you can look at other trades. For me, Sandbox is not a trade for me to take, especially if I can't even get in on a 30-minute chart. If I can't get in on a 30-minute chart, then there's just no way I'm going to be able to get in on a daily chart, right? Because the daily chart is, it's going to tell you like, hey, we're coming down for a little bit. So Sandbox is gone. If you got in at $1, congratulations. But if you haven't, then don't worry about it. There's the wonderful thing about the crypto market is that there's many opportunities for you to get in. Okay, remember, this strategy is for short term. It's not for long term. You're literally in and out maybe within a day, maybe 1 day to 3 days. So this is how you use that strategy. But for me, if I wanted to use this, like for example, this is the perfect example when you would get into Sandbox. You like Sandbox, you think Sandbox is awesome, you believe in the project. So here's what you're doing. You want to get in between the 8 and 21, right? But right now it's just kind of just bobbing around, right? You want to get in within this range because the range, see this range, it's very tight. There's nothing going on. The price is just bobbing up and down, right? So we call this phase the consolidation phase. And then when we see price go like this, right, that's explosion. So this is when you want to deploy this EMA strategy. When price is doing nothing, you can see the price keeps going in between, up and down between the EMA strategy, right? It keeps going in between these two lines. So when I see that, when I see price in this tight range doing nothing for a little bit, I think there's going to be an explosion. Another an example of that is actually like Cardano. Although Cardano is not really an explosion type, but I think it will be. Cardano is coming. Cardano is coming, guys. I know, like, there's like I know there's a lot of people who are like not fans of Cardano, but I love Cardano. So it's one of those coins that is actually my long-term coins that I hodl, right? That's the word, right? Hodl. And so, like, let's see. We use our nifty trend line, right? We need Cardano to break out of this gunk. I thought it was breaking out of it right over here. So we are testing it. It looks like $1.70 might be a max pain. Might be, because that's a prior high. Yeah, prior high. We need Cardano to we need Cardano to break out of the trend. And what it is see how we have here. We have Cardano come up here. We wanted Cardano to stay above this, but Cardano went back into this trend, right? And now it's hitting back and hitting back, right? We wanted Cardano to not continue this trend. We wanted it to, but it didn't. But it's coming. It's coming. I don't know when it's coming, but I can tell you it's coming. I'm an investor in this coin, so I just want you to know I'm not trying to make you buy it, like trying to make you buy this coin, but I'm just saying this is also a good example of when to use the EMA strategy. Maybe you want to short Cardano. Maybe you want to short Cardano. I prefer you not to, but it's okay if you wanted to. So you see that like the 8 is now leading down. It's leading, and it just keeps going down, right? So it's going down. You can use these kind of like 2 EMAs to give you the trend of where it's going and so forth, right? So that's another way. Remember, these are short term strategies, right? This EMA is a short term strategy, especially because I'm referring this to even the daily. You can use this on the daily as well, but it's from my point of view, it's like trying to short Bitcoin. Do you really want to short Bitcoin? It's hard to short Bitcoin. With Cardano, it's hard for me to short Cardano because I'm more bullish than I am bearish on Cardano. So using this EMA strategy, you could see like what is going on with Cardano. Cardano is with the 8 is leading it down. What we want to see is we want to see this 8 come up and cross. We want to see this 8 cross. Oh, why did I change? Okay. Yeah, we want to see this red line cross this green line. Or this yellow line, I'm sorry. We want to see this red line cross the green line, which is this 21 EMA. And then we could see a trend going on. We could see a reversal with the trend. So that's what also this EMA strategy is about. You want to see price movement. You want to get in when price movement is going in a favorable direction, right? So EMA, right? Using these EMAs, you can get in and you can get out. Let's look at this on an hourly chart. It might be a little easier. Like I said, short-term trades. Here we go. So you can see using the EMA Cross that I have, the EMA Cross is telling me like, hey, maybe you want to get in this region. So I could deploy capital right now if I wanted to, right? And then goes up, 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 up. And then we have another crossover saying, okay, it's time to get out, right? If you wanted to do this, this is on the hourly, you can get like 5%. That's not bad because you're in what? On the 19th, you're done on the 21st. Maybe you don't even want to wait the 21st. Who knows? Maybe you're just like, you're happy with your 5%. You get in here, you make your 5 to 8%, and then you're done. You want to get out. And that's like on the 20th. So you enter on the 19th, you're done on the 12th. So that's what you want to do. You want to enter into these in between these EMA strategies because EMA lines. Because when you're in between these lines, you could see the trend is going, but you have to if you have emotions, you have to tear them out. Remember, you're only in the trade, especially if you're on an hourly chart, you're only in there. Literally, you want to be in and out within a day or two. You don't want to stay in. And if you are going to stay in, you want to have tight stop losses or want to take profit right away. Unless you're in a trend like, for example, Sandbox. But even then, if you're in a Sandbox trend, as you guys could see, I couldn't even get in on a 30-minute chart. So that is a very good example when you can use the EMA strategy, right? You want to get in and you want to get out. Oh, all right. Did anybody find that useful, right? So now you know how you can use this short-term strategy. If you are antsy to trade, this is what you would use. You use this strategy for short-term gains, short-term plays and short-term gains. Now, you're probably wondering like, okay, so now that I'm in the trade, right, what would be an appropriate stop loss, right? So for my point of view, especially if I'm gonna do the hourly chart, I'm not willing to lose more than 2%. I would not be willing to lose more than 2% on any trade on an hourly chart. So again, this trade is, like I said, in, out, and done. Your goal is to collect like between 5 to 8% and then get out. That is the point of this EMA strategy. Unless you're deploying this on the daily chart, okay? But if you want to practice, this, I would recommend that you practice first on an hourly chart. And then you could see how well you do, or You know, like I would play with this with like maybe at most $20 to $50. That's all I would do. I would not recommend you to do this strategy with $1,000 and so forth. Okay, this is for you to practice. Okay, if you become an expert, then yeah, you can go ahead and deploy $1,000, but I wouldn't be doing it on an hourly chart. I'd be doing this on a daily chart. So for people who want to practice this EMA strategy, if you're going to do this on the hourly chart, I would suggest not to risk more than 2% of your portfolio. And how do you come up with that number, right? So here we go. Like I told you, I'm willing to get in between I'm willing to enter into the trade in between the 8 and the 21. I'm willing to enter in, okay? I don't want to see price go like down here, right? I don't want to see price come below the 21. So what I would do is put my stop loss just slightly below the EMA 21 number. I'm in and out and then I'm just gone, okay? So you do this, you can deploy capital here. And then, like I said, you're trying to get between 3 to 5 to 8 some percent. So 3 to 8%. If you think the coin is going to go up to the moon, then I would take profits still at 8%. Numbers, short trade. So how do we, so like, let's say you enter here at the bottom of the 21. You're like, okay, I only want to make 3% today, right? You only want to make 3%. You want to make 3%, but again, you don't want to risk more than 2%, right? You want to make percent. You set your target zone to sell at $1.90, $1.91, $1.92, whatever you want. And then you would set your stop loss just below, like just a little bit below the EMA 21 where you bought in. Okay. So this is how I would deploy this strategy. I use this strategy sometimes, but I've learned that by using this, because I use this strategy on the daily time frame, it's more easier to manage my position on a longer time frame, and I seem, how do you say it? Oftentimes it's more correct than if I was to do a short term. So if I was to do this on a shorter term time frame, I often find that I'm making more mistakes and I'm losing 2%, 2%, 2%, 2% plus the fees more often. So when I deployed this strategy, because I used to do stock trading, I had a higher success rate when I was doing the daily charts. So you get you put your limit order between the 21 and the 8 EMA. That's your buy zone, okay? So this is your buy zone, right? Because we want to get in this range because the price is tight, okay? The price is tight and we want to capture between 3 to 5 some percent. So what I would do is I would put in an order. You can put in an order at $1.81 and a small order at 5%. If you really think it's going to go up there. But that's really pushing it. So you could put in another order around 4%. So there, you made 4% on your money. This is a 2-to-1 ratio, but it would be pretty similar if you were doing this on a daily time frame, you would have a higher success rate in all honesty, because price that moves, you know, right, like it floats above the A, occasionally just visits the 21, it's like literally buying the dip. It's the very definition of buying the dip. So use strategy if you want to practice. I would recommend that you practice this on an hourly or 15-minute chart. Once you master this, then you can easily master the hourly, not just the hourly, but the daily chart. So I like doing the daily chart the best. Okay, so price is just kind of, this is trending downward. So Cardano is not a very good example for this. So I want to use maybe Superfund. Superfarm is a good example. Like I said, you use this strategy on clean charts. You don't want to use this on a messy chart where it's just like up and down, up and down, up and down. If it does up and down, you only want it to see it in a very you want to see it in a tight range, but that's your entry. That's your entry. So like Super Farm is a good example. So you want to use this strategy in a very strong uptrend, okay? And a very strong uptrend. So we see Super Farm doing outstanding stuff, right? You want to see, this is where you would want to buy in. This is a buy-in zone, and this is a buy-in zone. If you wanted to get into Super Farm on a daily chart, these are buy-in zones. Okay, so that's how I use the strategy. If you want to do this on daily, I feel that there's more success doing this on a daily time frame, because when you see this is clean. This is clean. When I say this is clean, you could see that it's a clear uptrend. It's a clear uptrend, and it looks like it may also continue. And given that Super Farm has, so you have some leeway because Super Farm has a prior high right here to $4.54, right? So because it has this prior high, it actually tells me that this price, if you guys can recall from my previous video, that price wants to revisit prior highs, and it wants to defeat those prior highs. So what that means is if you make a high, you want to make another high, and then you want to defeat that prior high. So all the time when you see charts making prior highs or making new all-time highs, guess what the chart wants to do? It wants to make another all-time high. Bitcoin is a perfect example of a chart that wants to do nothing but beat all-time highs, right? I don't need to tell you guys the story. It went from 64 grand, and then 62 grand, and then it went down to 30 grand. But what did that chart tell me? It said, hey, I went to 64. Guess what? I'm going to beat 64. So that's what I'm thinking every time when I see a chart. I'm like, oh, it made an all-time high. Okay, it wants to make another all-time high. And when any chart makes another all-time high, that's not bearish, that's bullish. So with this, I hope this video was useful. I hope that like if you really wanted to like just get your hands into trading, you can't wait. This is a strategy that helps you develop patience as well, because the rule is when using this strategy is that you are in when price is a little bit more calm. When the price is calm, that's when you want to get in. because when price is calm, right, it's just bobbing a little bit up and down, then we could see an explosion. Super is the perfect example. Sandbox is an example too. So use these with strong uptrends. As long as you use this with, you want to use charts that kind of go like this. For example, this is this line. Let's say it goes up here, this line, right, and so forth. So you want to look at things that kind of step, right? So it goes here, right, and then it goes here. It tests, it does a retest, and then it goes here, and then it comes here, right? It does a retest. It does a retest at this level. That's what you're looking at. It tests this. So this is what they call the ceiling. That's a resistance. And then this becomes the new support. So that's what you're looking for when you're doing this strategy. You want to look for charts that are like a stair stepping. And when you use this EMA strategy, it tells you that, hey, it's a little bit too expensive to buy in. So I'm not ready for you to buy me now. That's what goes through my mind when I'm using this strategy. Like when it's not within that price range, I'm thinking, okay, it's too expensive. But if it goes below, I'm like, okay, this is too cheap. Remember, you're in and out. So again, I hope this was useful. I hope that you can learn something from this. I hope that you liked this video. If you thought I was going a little bit too fast, I would appreciate that you would tell me. I appreciate any feedback that you may have, and anything you guys want me to cover, or something you don't understand about the strategy, I'd be more than happy to answer on the YouTube comments if you like. I'd be more than happy to answer that for you. And if you guys like, this is a good strategy to use for the alts, for example. So anything that moves like super fast, I would use this for like a 4-hour chart, a 4-hour or 30-minute chart. Try to get in and then get out. But again, always trade well, trade with caution. I would not risk more than, again, like you should never risk more than 2 to 5% of your portfolio on a trade, on any single trade. You don't want to lose more than 2 to 5%. Never more than 5% is a general rule. Unless you want to see your portfolio just go down to 20% from one trade. So always be more, manage your trades with caution. And again, I was never meant to like, hey, it's time to buy Superfarm, for example. Okay, you trade with caution. You're in and out. Don't, if you want to hold these coins forever, that's a different strategy. That's what we call the HODL strategy. But then now we have to talk about when it's time to sell those coins, because at one point you're going to want to sell those coins. So again, thank you for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I know Thanksgiving is coming right there up in America, right? In the 25th. When is that? 25th. No surprise there, right? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Trade well. I anticipate some really good things happening in the altcoin division. And next week, I want to cover the Fibonacci, which is sequences. And then I want to talk about Web3 stuff, a little bit into Web3 stuff. So I hope you guys will tune into that next week's video, and you guys be safe. All right. Have a good day, and don't be a monkey taco. Okay, no monkey tacos today. We got monkey tacos for next week. Okay, good luck and